isn't in the Epstein files is just as damaging to Donald Trump as what is in the Epstein files. Because there will be new testimony from Epstein associates. There will be more bank records released. And of course, the cover-up that has taken place under this administration, and don't forget the previous one as well, will one day be exposed. But you don't even need to look inside the White House. You just need to look at the prison that is currently housing Ghislaine Maxwell, because a new leaked video is exposing all that has gone into this cover-up as a new report about a Maxwell pardon is being exposed. We are going to get into it all, and so much more. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into so much about the Maxwell cover-up that is being exposed by this leaked video, and of course, the talks about her pardon, I want to start with how Fox is trying to distract its audience from the GHISLAINE cover-up with what Jesse Waters said right here.
Minimum security prison and is being waited on basically hand and foot.
I don't know and I don't care.
Well, that's
but I
beautiful.
do know this,
I love
Jessica.
that you don't know and
you
you
will
don't
find
care
out
what's inconvenient
that the
for
FBI
you.
will be embarrassed because they investigated a lot of these allegations and didn't do anything about it. The DOJ will be embarrassed because they were the ones that cut the sweetheart deal. JP Morgan, all the bankers will be embarrassed.
Yeah, I'd love
a lot of Democrats and a lot of and the royal family will be embarrassed.
Well,
so
they definitely already are.
I think Donald Trump is probably saying there's going to be a lot of innuendo out there. You really want to see it? You really want to see it? Are you sure? Okay.
They are making it obvious at this point the extent that they are willing to go to not just cover up for Donald Trump, to not just wave a shiny object in the face of their idiotic viewers over at the Fox propaganda outlet. How little that they actually care. They never cared. Which is really obvious when, of course, Republicans say that Democrats are using the Epstein files as a political tool against Donald Trump. And they're only now talking about it because it's politically hurtful to Trump. Well, you all were talking about the Epstein files during the 2024 election. So do you only now not care about it because it's politically damaging to Donald Trump? It is a self-report every single day from MAGA as they talk about and cover up the Epstein files. But Jesse Waters saying that he doesn't care at all is no surprise to any of us who have heard the disgusting and foul and awful things that he has said every single day. But it's not just the MAGA media covering up Epstein. They made it blatantly obvious when Jasmine Crockett tried to get Ghislaine Maxwell to testify before Congress.
I move that the committee subpoena the head of the Bureau of Prisons, William K. Marshall, to discuss and produce all records relating to the transfer of Jeffrey Epstein, co-conspirator and child sex trafficker, Ghislaine Maxwell, in apparent violation of BOP policies regarding sex offenders to include all BOP communications with DOJ, FBI, and the White House. BOP transferred Maxwell to a minimum security camp following her interview with President Trump's former personal attorney and now Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
Motion to
I am
table
done reading
is
now.
not debatable. This question occurs on the motion to table. Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no.
No.
Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
I'd ask for a recorded vote.
This again is another example of how MAGA just can't keep their story straight. So if Todd Blanche went and talked to Ghislaine Maxwell, and she was willing to cooperate because she wants to help the government in whatever way possible, and that's why we can trust her. Someone who has perjured herself before, someone who is already a proven criminal. Todd Blanche said, "We can trust Ghislaine Maxwell because she wants to help." Why wouldn't that person who we haven't heard from in months and so much information has been revealed since then? Why wouldn't she want to come speak to the government again? It doesn't make any sense. Of course, if you're operating in the MAGA worldview. But the MAGA worldview is a broken worldview. It is a false worldview. And it just doesn't work. Ghislaine Maxwell is out for herself. It's why we have this new reporting about her. Pardon, before we take a look at that video from her prison. Jeffrey Epstein, co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, plans to seek commutation from Trump. Whistleblower says Ghislaine Maxwell, the co-conspirator of the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, is in the process of seeking a commutation of her 20-year prison sentence from Donald Trump. A whistleblower has told House Democrats. The whistleblower came forward with the information to Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee and also alleges Maxwell is getting preferential treatment in prison. So Ghislaine Maxwell, who is only, of course, out to help the government in its investigation of Epstein and all of his crimes in whatever way possible, according to Todd, Blanche is putting together a little commutation form for herself. What? Why would she do that? Why would Glenn do that? Oh, is it because she's only out for herself? It is obvious that that is what is happening right now, and that she is expecting a pardon from Trump. And in the meantime, she's enjoying her cushy treatment, which was just revealed once again in this leaked video. Ghislaine Maxwell filmed bizarrely carrying umbrella on sunny day at Texas prison. She's Mary Lockton's. Ghislaine Maxwell was snapped going for a casual stroll while carrying an umbrella on a sunny day at the cushy federal prison camp. Brian, just days after Congress voted to release the Epstein files. Video released Saturday showed Jeffrey Epstein's madam wearing a pair of blue athletic shorts and a matching blue t-shirt walking freely in the park-esque Texas prison, which had temps in the high 70s this past weekend. And you can see Ghislaine Maxwell walking with her umbrella. So the woman who gets a self of 4 all to herself, who gets 5-course meals DoorDash delivered to herself, she gets a puppy. She gets yoga. She gets pottery classes. This sex criminal also gets an umbrella when it's a little too sunny for Ghislaine. If it's 70 degrees out, oof, how could she possibly bear it? How could this criminal mind you be asked to endure the conditions of a sunny day without a little protection? Without an umbrella? Glenn Maxwell also, by the way, is getting compliments of dear leader Donald Trump unlimited toilet paper as well. Glenn gets whatever she wants in this prison. That is what has been widely reported. It has been leaked from prison guards who are afraid of her. Not the other way around afraid of her. And Ghislaine Maxwell is walking around with an umbrella because it's a little too sunny as she takes a stroll to the park. Donald Trump was willing to cut off food assistance for 41 million Americans. And MAGA was justifying it by demanding people who are already working. Mind you, go get another job. Because the one that they are already working full-time in our broken economic system, does not pay them enough to be able to afford food and rent and health insurance. They're saying that those people are mooching off the government. But Ghislaine Maxwell, a sex criminal, gets an umbrella when she has too much shade on her at her prison. If you are working 60 hours a week and can't afford food because Walmart does not pay a living wage, although we subsidize their profits, MAGA says, no, we are not going to feed you. The wealthiest country in the world is not going to feed you and make sure that people and children aren't starving. But if you are Ghislaine Maxwell, and you are a criminal helping the president, also a criminal, cover up both of their crimes. Then you get an umbrella, so the sun doesn't get on you and you can stay nice and shaded and cool. How are we not having a bigger freak out over this? How is this not a bigger deal? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. And it also doesn't make sense to Jasmine Crockett, who's been one of the loudest voices beating the drum demanding more transparency. As we saw on this Epstein investigation, she had more to say. She had a lot to say on Marjorie Taylor Greene, which I think really resonates right now as well.
By the President of the United States, whom I fought for.
So she seems to be suggesting that it is their disagreement over the release of the Epstein files that is causing this shocking political breakup. What's your response to that?
I mean, listen, he's upset with Thomas Massie, and so he's gone after him. He's upset with Boebert. He's upset with any Republican that actually signed the discharge petition. But somehow they were able to weather the storm. So, this really speaks to the fact that Marjorie, who has been an instigator of a lot of this hate that we see as it relates to the MAGA movement, it's just interesting that I don't know if she really fully understood how bad she was making it for other people. And now that they're doing it to her, I just got to say, well, why is it that everyone else is able to stand and you can't?
The House Oversight Committee, which you are a member of, said Friday night that your committee is expanding its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Do you have any idea what this expanded investigation might include?
I do not at this point in time. I'll say leadership is keeping it under wraps to make sure that we can hopefully not have many more obstacles. If you'll remember, we decided that we were going to put out a subpoena for Ghislaine Maxwell, and the next thing you know, the president's henchman showed up to her cell, and the next thing you know, we didn't have our sit-down talk with her, which I imagine would have gone a little differently if we had. So we're keeping that tight-lipped for now.
The chairman of the Oversight Committee, James Comer of Kentucky, says that Democrats are just trying to use these files to smear the president. Just to be clear, do you or your colleagues have any idea about what's in these files, one way or the other, relating to Trump or not?
Absolutely not. I mean, here's the reality. If we did have that information, I don't know that we would need it necessarily to be released. And we know that the Republicans keep saying, figure out what it is the Democrats have done and make sure that you can pull out the Democratic stuff and make sure you get rid of all the Republican names. Listen, I don't really care who is in the files. At the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. And if you are truly about law and order, then we should be looking for who it is that has broken the law and in what ways. And we need to better understand who potentially in government allowed for a lot of these things to take place, whether we're talking about the fake immigration paperwork that we've heard from a lot of the survivors, whether we're talking about other foreign governments that have participated and who it was that allowed for that, whether we're talking about the sham organizations, the sham modeling agencies that were nothing but a front for trafficking. We need to know whether or not they still exist in some other iteration. This is about not only making sure that the survivors get justice, but making sure that there aren't others that are going through a similar system right now.
There was a back and forth this week after you accused former Republican Congressman, now EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, of accepting campaign donations from Jeffrey Epstein. It turned out it wasn't convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. It was a Long Island neurosurgeon, Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, different person. You corrected the record. However, now the neurosurgeon is telling the New York Post that he is threatening revenge against you. He's going to donate to your campaign, so you have to admit you accepted money from a Jeffrey Epstein, if not the Jeffrey Epstein. What's your response to that?
Listen, if there's anybody else who's alive and decides that they want to donate just so that you'll be on my FEC report, I am here for it. I will take your donation, especially since Jeffrey Epstein is now deceased. I don't think that it will be confusing whatsoever.
I think y'all know because I have been unapologetic about it. But I am not giving a get-out-of-jail-free card to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has harassed school shooting victims. She helped incite the January 6th insurrection. She has been a disgusting, vile, and detrimental figure in public political life for years now. Just because she had a spat with Donald Trump does not mean sins are forgiven. I'm gonna need her to actually continue to show that she cares. I'm on Jasmine Crockett's side here. We're gonna keep calling out the bullshit. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And if you want to support the show another place, you can go follow me on Instagram at JDCotrella. The DMs that y'all have sent have really mean a lot. It's very kind to have that little community over there. We're gonna keep fighting. Don't let him silence you all. And until next time, I'll see you soon.